Setting up your electronic lab. Where you put your workshop is just as important as the projects you make and the tools you use. Just in a real estate, the guiding word for electronics work is location. Location, location. By stacking out a comfortable spot in your house or apartment, you'll be better organized and enjoy your electronic experiments much more. Now, there's nothing worse than working with a messy workbench in dim lighting while breathing stale air. The top ingredients for a great lab. Now, the prime ingredients for the well set up electronics laboratory are a comfortable place to work with a table and chair, good lighting, ample electrical outlets with at least 15 ampere service. We also have tools and toolboxes on nearby shelves or racks, and then a comfortable dry climate, a solid flat work surface, and lastly, peace and quiet. Now, who doesn't want that? Now, a warning here is that the ideal workspace won't get disturbed if you have to leave it for hours or days. Also, the workable should be off limits or inaccessible to young children, because we have a lot of curious kids and electronics don't mix together. So where in your house can you find an electronics haven, and how should you set it up to work best for your projects? Picking a perfect place to practice electronics. Before setting up shop, consider the best place in your house for building your project. The garage is actually an ideal setting because it gives you the freedom to solder, hammer, and etch without having to worry about soiling the new carpet. Now, you don't need too much space. It's just about maybe 3 by 4 feet. It may actually do it already. You can set aside an area for electronics in the garage and still park the car, assuming that you don't already have the space clogged with bikes, lawnmowers, old toys, and who know what else. You can use a room in the house if you don't have or can get into your garage, but only if that room conforms to some basic requirements. When working in a carpeted room, you may want to spread another material or some protective cover over the floor to prevent static electricity. For example, use an anti-static mat. Now, a tip here is that putting something down to cover the floor gives you a benefit besides reducing static electricity. When the floor cover fills with solder bits and little pieces of wire and component leads, you can take the floor coverings outside, beat it with a broom, and put it back as good as new. Now, a bedroom, den, or family room can be an acceptable location for your electronics lab, but try to clear away a corner or section of the room for dedicated electronics hacking. Now, the odds are you need to leave projects overnight or for even longer periods of time from time to time, and your work needs to stay undisturbed. And if your work area is in main area of the house, you may want to hide it when you're not experimenting. You can make quite a mess working with electronics, especially if you're in the middle of troubleshooting your latest project. A folding screen works wonders to hide your work area, especially if you have your work surface situated in the corner of a room.